week 19 of the fantasy basketball season, and here's a few guards that shouldn't be part of your championship roster this week. The first guy's De'Aaron Fox of the Sacramento Kings. So Fox on April 23rd, he's out 10 to 14 days they gave him for the health and protocols, and he probably tested positive for the virus. Here is De'Aaron Fox. And this King team, they're pretty much out of playoff contention, even with the play-in games, and the 9th and 10th seed getting a chance to get in. So they're most likely going to sit him out the rest of the season here. And he's a player I think you safely could drop this week. And it was another great season for Fox, though. 25.2 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, 7.2 assists, 1.5 steals, 1.8 threes a game, 71% from the foul line, and 47% from the field. So Fox, he was a top 20, 25 pick in most fantasy drafts coming into the fantasy season. And once again, he lived up to it this year here. He signed a huge contract with the Kings, but he played very well this season. The next season, he'll be a second or third rounder latest in fantasy drafts. But this season, it's done for him right now. And if you're an owner in the championship, or if it's the second round of your playoffs, or you're just trying to win your third place game, Fox is definitely droppable in my opinion. I don't think he's coming back at all. And it was a good season for him, but they're not going to rush him back this season while the Kings have nothing to play for. The second guard's Mike Conley of the Utah Jazz. So the Jazz here, they're one of the best teams in the NBA this season and at top of the Western Conference. So Conley, he's been out the last few days there with the hamstring injury. A guy that you could drop as well with pretty much everything clinched and ready to go here for Utah, entering the playoffs. They're not going to rush the veteran Conley back. And obviously the hamstring injuries, they're very tricky, especially for NBA players. They got to cut left and right, jump, move. So Conley, they're going to take it easy with him. And with the playoffs in about 2.5, 3 weeks away, I could see them sitting him out until the final couple games of the regular season. But this week here in week 19 of the fantasy basketball season, he's definitely a drop in my opinion. But it was a good season here for Mike Conley. He was ranked 67, 16.4 points a game, 3.4 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.4 steals a game, 2.7 threes, 85% from the foul line, and 44% from the field. But he hasn't seen action since April 26th at Minnesota, where he had 26 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, a block, and 3 threes. And I don't think he'll see action at least the rest of this week here with ball games versus San Antonio, Denver, and Houston, which they don't really have to worry about is Utah, except Denver in this scenario. But I still don't see Conley playing, and he's a guard I would drop in the third and final guard. I would look to drop this week's Schroder of the Los Angeles Lakers. So the same thing that happened to De'Aaron Fox, Schroder now is going to miss 10 to 14 days with the protocol. So he's most likely out for the rest of the regular season here for the Lakers. And the Lakers, I know they've been struggling. I know LeBron's been banged up and Anthony Davis just came back, but they beat Denver last night. And Schroder, another guy, they're going to save him for the playoffs and not rush him back. But a good season it was in his first season with the Lakers. 121st, he was ranked on the year in fantasy. 15.5 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, 5.8 assists, 1.2 steals, 1.1 threes a game, 84% from the foul line, and 43% from the field. So his points were obviously down from last season, but everything else pretty much stayed the same or went up for Schroder in his first year in LA, and we'll see what he could do for them in the playoffs. But right now, fantasy owners, they rushed and dropped him off most of their rosters. He's been dropped in 7% of leagues already, and it's only Tuesday right now. But Dennis Schroder was having a good season with the Lakers, and next season, he's probably a player you target in the 6th or 7th round of fantasy drafts. But right now, with the protocols and him being out 10 to 14 days, there's no need to hold them onto your roster. So that's a few guards I will look to drop here in week 19 of the fantasy basketball season.